Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
Everything that is in the news right now is bullish for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. We are setting up for one of the most bullish middle summer into the end of the year, probably even into February and March of an epic bull run. And I'm going to show you exactly why. When we look at this chart right here, which I shared some months ago now, these targets are what I'm looking at to the upside. But most importantly, the gateway, this mega pump gateway, which we have already flirted with a couple of times. What do we do at this current price level? Is price high for Bitcoin? Is it going higher? Absolutely. And are altcoins about to explode? I think they are already in the process of setting up for those next major legs of the upside. And I'm going to show you exactly why. So make sure you're following us for more. Make sure you hit the like button. We're going to keep you on the right side of the trend. Exactly what we're looking at. The data is across the board bullish. So let's dive into it. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. If this is your first time on BitLab, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. Also, shout out to our channel partners, BitcoinIRA.com, LBank, our trusted exchange partner that we trade and share all those trades, do live trading, all that and more in the Discord. That is pinned to the top of the live chat there if you're watching on YouTube. Also, if you're watching on Rumble, shout out to you. And if you're watching on X, big love to you. Welcome to the family here on BitLab. You can find us on YouTube, on Rumble as well, and also over here on my page here at Kelly Kellam, as you can see right here. And of course, we do giveaways. If you all retweet this, if you hit that retweet button, hit that like button, if we get over 40 retweets of this post, we will do a $100 value giveaway tomorrow. It could be USDT. It could be a $100 value gift. Everybody get involved, hit that retweet button. But we're seeing some bullishness in the market. Let's go over here to the weekly. Ravencoin, which we talked about the other day, has seen some major gains in the last week. If we come over here on the hourly, we're getting a mixed bag. But most importantly, when we look at the price action on Bitcoin, we clearly broke out of this downtrend that started on May 23rd. We saw a very clear break of the zone, a little hesitation here, which actually on the smaller term timeframes was a bit of a bull flag. And now we have a larger bull pennant that is formed, and we're getting this never-ending onslaught of bullish news, which is only supporting higher prices. Now, if the price does move to the downside, remember the base, the foundation of everything that's in this market right now is very much weighed on what's happening with the US and China trade negotiations, what's going on with the other tariff and trade war deals going on the world over. And we just got some positive words and positive news that we're going to be sharing with you here in just a few minutes. But we're seeing some very positive things on Chainlink, on Solana, on BNB, on Binance. And most importantly, we're seeing one of the largest liquidity pools in the world, China, showing signs that they are injecting more liquidity into the markets. And these markets, this risk on, risk off, price go higher hopium is actually not so much hopium. It's rooted in the data that we're looking at that shows more and more nonstop new liquidity getting added to the global liquidity metrics that Bitcoin has been tracking so closely. And once this risk on mentality comes back, in addition to liquidity getting pumped into the markets, altcoins are set to rip to some new levels that you cannot even believe. So if you like that, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, get involved in the family here, get active in the live chat. I want to know, do you guys think we will hit $150,000 by the end of summer, so let's say by the end of August, do you think Bitcoin will break beyond 150,000, even if it retracts by then? Do you think we'll hit $150,000 Bitcoin in US dollars by the end of August? Drop the comment in the live chat here. Drop the comment down below if you're watching later, but let's get involved. And also, I want to see a good morning, a GM and the city that you're tuned in from. I want to see a GM Atlanta, GM Ohio, GM Switzerland, GM Norway, GM anywhere that you're at in the world. Say good morning and what city you're tuned in from. Let's see how far reaching we've got the community here tuned in on the stream right now. We got about 600-700 people tuned in at the moment. If you're watching on YouTube and you see there's 20-30 people, you just watch. There's going to be a lot more people coming in, but we also got people tuned in on X. We also have people tuned in on Rumble. So shout out to everybody, no matter what platform you're tuned in from. I love to have you here. I'm feeling grateful this morning. I'm feeling fed. I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling happy. And I am just so thankful that we can do this together on a daily basis. For those of you that are in the Discord, again, that link is pinned in the top of the live chat there. If you see right here, it's pinned in the top of the live chat. If you are in our Discord, we've been doing these morning streams with Drew and I and TJ, breaking down what we're seeing for the day, breaking down exactly what we're looking for with the news. So much going on. And we break down some of the charts and the levels we're watching, considerations and concerns we have. So get involved in that Discord. If you are a BitLab member, in the old Discord and you're a paying member, drop an email, because we can check if you're a paying member or not, but drop an email to office@heatnetwork.com and let them know the email that you use to become a member over there on BitLab, and also your Discord username, and we can get you activated in the this joint super Discord that we have now with Drew, myself, DZ, TJ, Joshua, Jake. All of us are all in there together. So we have this super group of trading, of charts, of alpha, of discussions, of morning member streams. If there's so much going on in there. So again, if you are a paying member, drop an email to office@heatnetwork.com. If you've ever been a paying member, even if you've let that membership elapse or it's ended, drop an email to office@heatnetwork.com and let them know that you used to be a paying member, and we got an incredible discount code for you to get involved there, because it is an incredible place to be. So shout out to each and every one of you. I see Healthy Vibes. I see Alexandra G. That is me, Melissa, Blair Stevenson, Theo Rodriguez. We got all of you. I don't see anybody chat. Oh, there we go. Giga Chad from China. One person has chatted from X. Remember, if you're watching on X, all you need to do is come over here and click on this. And then there's a live chat function right here. I can see all your chats. Let's everybody get active. This is all about building together, community, having a support system between all of us. But let's dive into the charts, because we have got some incredible data today that we want to share about what is going on in the markets. First up, where is Bitcoin going? Bitcoin is going up into the right. As you can see here on this chart from Kevin Svensson, who we have on this channel regularly, this is the pattern that Bitcoin has built. This is a parabolic curve pattern. What we've seen is the base, the retrace, and setting this sort of parabolic trend, and then a retrace into the third base level, as we see here, and then a large explosion to the upside, a little bit of cool off here into a reset on base 4. What is next after this, based on this known chart pattern that happens on any asset? It can happen on anything, not just Bitcoin, but this known structure is showing that this next major leg, which we've already started right here, this feels like this, right? This feels like this. This is not it. This portion right here is only reflective of this right here in this pattern. Because as you see, this move up here is only reattacking this previous range high. So boom, reattacking previous range high. AKA, we have so much higher to go in the Bitcoin price action. We have so much growth and super bull activity that I think we're going to see persist throughout the rest of this year into even early next year. So make sure you're stacked. If you're not, what are you doing? Hit the like button if you've already been stacking. Hit the like button if you're even about to stack, because this market is about to leave so many people behind. So pay attention to this chart pattern, because I do think we have so much higher to go. And I said this, Bitcoin on path, higher. The global money printing is the hyper magnet propelling upward price action for Bitcoin and these risk assets. So what else do we see? We see some bullishness across the board. How is Bitcoin's price going to go higher? It's so high at $109,000. It must be near a top. Well, based on this metric alone, it shows you the dynamic shift that's taken place in the last year and a half. And that is this. This is where the Bitcoin bull market cycle started, back here in January of 2023. Look at the whales stacking, the whale addresses, how many whale addresses there are. Players that bring massive buy pressure to Bitcoin ecosystem. Well, what have we seen? As price has risen and the awareness around Bitcoin has grown exponential, so too have we seen a massive exponential, orders of magnitude larger stacking and an increase in the number of Bitcoin addresses that are whales that have stacked into where we're at right now. Whales stack in at areas preceding much higher price action. Dumb money buys when all the hype is there and you get this euphoric, overexposed top that then just, it's a blow off, boom, and then they end up losing money. Whereas whales create incredibly strong bases. And what we're seeing right here is the largest platform we've ever seen of whales, new whales coming into the market, buying in size, stacking in size, tens of thousands of Bitcoin from ETFs, from Bitcoin proxies, from corporations, from ultra high net worth players. And if this doesn't give you confidence and much higher prices, I don't know what will, because we're seeing an abundance, an overwhelming amount of positive news, as well as the data that we're seeing of an incredibly strong base to jump and be fueled higher and higher and higher. That's why yesterday I talked about, as high as price may feel like it is, where's the liquidity to come from to go higher? This is only part of this liquidity to go much higher. In fact, I think we are going to melt faces in this market cycle. So let's make sure we are locked in. But I want to throw it back. We got a lot of people tuning in over the last few minutes. Got about 1,400 people tuned in. I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. Not to come here and watch BitLab, not to come here and be part of this community. I appreciate you for being on the forefront of technology, on the forefront of innovation and investing, taking a chance, even if it's just your time to watch streams like this. You are educating yourself on the complete change and evolution in technology and money and culture and how we perceive value, how we store value. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the world culture that sees where these markets are going, or at minimum are at least interested in this seismic shift and investing your time at minimum to get involved, because we have got so much higher to go in this market. The whales are waking up. Institutions are waking up. Corporations are waking up. Governments are waking up. We have so much higher to go in this market. And I think there's going to be some altcoins out there that are going to change so many lives. And that's why I do this on a daily basis, to make sure that you are stacking and staying on the right side of these trends so that we can change our lives together. So shout out to each and every one of you that is tuned in here. I want to make sure that I bookmark that. And am I following this individual? Okay, I'm following. Good, wonderful. Now, what else do we see? We got bullish news this morning, and that is that the May CPI inflation rose. Oh my God, it rose to 2.4, but it below the expectation of 2.5, AKA inflation is not ticking up anymore. Yes, this is high. Yeah, we have an inflation up at 2.4, but it's below the expectation. So we're seeing positive things coming in where inflation's starting to sort of round out a bit. It's not runaway inflation any longer. We've got a lot of things on the horizon regarding trade wars, tariffs, goods, supply chain, logistics, all these things that are going to probably impact some interesting data over the next 6 to 12 months, as the impact at the store always takes a bit of a delay to actually reach the consumer. So while the tariffs and everything like that have not really had a drastic impact on prices rising yet, these things take 3, 4, 8 months before they actually are reflected. So there still could be a pretty decent spike in inflation as we look ahead. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jerome Powell is still being a little bit reluctant to have a very large rate cut, because we still could have a problem with inflation coming in the near future. But now this isn't just because new money in the market. It's also because there's now economic trade pressures that could affect what those prices are going to be. So Jerome Powell is in a very precarious situation. However, I do see the rate cuts that are happening in the European Central Bank. I do see rate cuts that are happening in other places around the world. And we do see an exponential sort of move for the global liquidity to be pushing to the upside. So there is a very hard decision that Jerome Powell is going to have to make. And that comes next week, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. We have the next FOMC meeting. And as it stands right now, we're still seeing essentially a very, very small chance that we'll get a rate cut. That's what this is. However, the chances for rate cuts have doubled since yesterday. What do I mean by that? This is just a silly topic, but yesterday this was at 0.1. Today it's at 0.2. So this is basically showing there's a very, very small likelihood that we're going to get a rate cut from Jerome Powell and the Fed following that FOMC meeting next week. However, we did also see JD Vance come out, as well as Donald Trump, saying different things regarding needing a rate cut. It's basically financial malpractice. It's financial malpractice that the Fed has not cut rates yet. That's what JD Vance said. And Donald Trump came out and said, President Trump came out and said he's calling for hopefully a full point rate cut. If we have this small of a probability based on the market players out there suggesting that there's a near zero possibility that we're going to get a rate cut next week, if we were, whether it's 25 basis points, half a basis point, or a full point, that would absolutely wake every bull up out there and see a very large jump in price action out of that, because nobody's expecting it. I wonder if there's some setup that is trying to get that slingshot activated. But we got more news to look at, and we're going to be looking at some TA here in a little bit. We're going to be looking at charts for breakouts on some altcoins, some of your favorite altcoins. Also some incredible news that also suggests more bullishness coming into the altcoin market. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, we're seeing some major things going on. BNB, Aerodrome, Morpho, BitTensor Tau, which you see over my shoulder. We are seeing some incredible developments that are suggesting higher, faster, stronger, longer. We're seeing this market wake up, and some of these conditions that have been limiting the bulls' sort of exuberance to just bring in the buy pressure. We're seeing all the conditions we want for some incredible bullish price action. So hit the like button if you're excited about that. Hit the subscribe button and share this out to your friends if you are following along and you've been stacking all the way. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Rumble, if you're watching on X, wherever you're at, I appreciate you. We said this earlier before we just had a huge number of people roll in. If you're just tuning in, you didn't hear this earlier, drop a good morning in chat and the city that you're tuned in from. Say good morning, Omaha. Good morning, Atlanta. Good morning, Seoul. Good morning, Paris. Good morning. It doesn't matter. LA. But shout out to everybody that's in LA or anywhere out there that's dealing with riots. But let me know where you're tuned in from and get active in this live chat. I want to see a lot more activity. We are doing this together. I'm watching your chats here. I am watching if you have super chats of something specific you want to look at, coins. We'll do a section at the end where we just look at coin requests for you guys, so we can make sure that we're getting to everything that you guys want to see. Now let's get back into this, because we got some important data. Again, the whales are not waking up. They have been waking up for the better part of a year and a half, going exponential, meaning higher prices. The base that we are at now, with such strong hands buying in at the levels that we're at, suggests to me that price is going so much higher. Again, I'll ask again, because there's a lot of new people that rolled in. Let me know in the live chat right now, do you think we can break past $150,000? Even if the price pulls back, do you think price can go beyond $150,000, even if it's $1, by the end of August? Let me know in the live chat there. We got Dr. Crypto here, 76, Staffordshire, UK. Could you check Pepe? We can look at some Pepe. We got live from O Block. We got Arizona. We got all over Maryland, Denver, Maui. Shout out, mahalo and aloha to Maui. I used to live in Maui and Kaanapali. Used to sail around and fishing boats, all that kind of stuff. So big love to you, BT. We got people all over. Kyle, Texas. I got some family from Kyle, Texas. Las Vegas. What's up? I used to live there as well. I've been all over the world, guys. Now let's look at some of this data because we got some really good stuff we want to look at. We got the CPI data. Great. Now check this out. Bitcoin near all-time high and no profit taking. This goes back to that data we were just talking about with the whales stacking, but we also are seeing something different than we normally see. When price breaks beyond all-time highs and you get this run up right in the zone, this is where big players, smart money, usually offloads. They sell, they take profits into this, while dumb money, retail, coming in late to the party like they always do, they buy assets off somebody that bought much lower, leaving the market price, the structure, much weaker because you have strong hands that bought much lower, taking profits into this, giving their assets to much weaker hands. And then you get this rollover and the breakdown, or you get this, large peak and then the sell-off because you ultimately have near zero, much fewer strong hands and predominantly weak hands. So then any volatility leads to people selling and you get the sell-off and you get the bear market until smart money buys again down here. But what we're seeing right now at the price levels as it at near all-time highs, but no profit taking, whales show no intention of taking profits at this price level above $100,000, where we're at right now. This is so bullish, and are likely waiting for higher prices, where significant market overheating and a bubble form before making their move. So this is what they're not showing really any profit taking at these levels. We're seeing stacking at these levels, build the base, take the giant rip to the upside, sell the rip, and then let the market drop again. But in addition to this, a lot of these whales are much longer term players. So we've got a lot of bullishness coming into this market. And then this is another example of that. Today, however, inflows are just around 3 billion and are continuing to decline. Now, why is this bullish? A strong bullish signal, in fact, from Binance. This is inflows to exchange. If I'm holding in my private wallet, in my Arculus wallet, if I'm holding getarculus.com, use code BitLab20 for the best crypto cold storage solution. But if you're holding Bitcoin in a private wallet, what other reason than more likely than not selling is there if you're moving your assets into exchange where selling and trading takes place? The fact is right here, we're seeing a decline in inflows to exchange at the same rate, or at the same time, we're seeing a massive uptick in whales stacking. People are preparing for long-term right now. We have whales basically stacking in at this level above, into this level at $100,000. We got, no profit being taken place right now. And the inflows to exchange right now are diminishing exponentially. The setup for higher is here. Hit the like button if you agree. Hit the like button if you're stacking, because I do believe we are going so much higher. Now, can there be a little washouts along the way? Sure. And there probably will be. And we're going to take advantage of those. We're going to be buying those dips together. And this is why. Breaking news. Every story in the news right now supports a Super Bowl breakout setup for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Are you paying attention? Have you stacked? Are you stacking? Because the worst place to be right now is on the sidelines. And I truly believe this. The onslaught of news right now that is supporting more capital channels, more governments, more corporations, more wealthy people, more whales buying and stacking than we've ever seen. Right now, it's time to lock in, stack your portfolios, cut out the cheeseburgers, shrink your waistline, expand your portfolios, cut unnecessary costs. You don't need to book that private villa. Maybe you just get a cheaper room somewhere. If you don't need to book for first class, sit in economy. There's so many different areas you can be cutting costs right now so you can stack as much Bitcoin as possible. Now, what else we got? We're going to be diving into this TA here in just a moment. We also got breaking. Trump said he is fixing his relationship with Elon, and we can see this playing out right now, also having positive effects on the market, as though, although this is a bit silly, This is a major impact Tesla is a major, major player in the Mag 7, a major impact on what's happening with the sort of risk on, risk off narrative in the stock market, but also what's going on just on the political front between two of the most famous people in the world, the richest person in the world, Elon Musk, and also a visionary in everything he's done with all the different aspects from SpaceX to Starlink to Tesla and of course, Elon Musk. The fact that they're making up a bit is very bullish for markets. Now, beyond that, we also have better news coming in from China and the US. So watch markets. Watch the markets are talking about, I don't know what the hell I was saying there, but basically US and China conclude the trade talks. That almost immediately after this, we saw the positive framework. They basically said we're agreeing on the framework for this trade deal. And then we got this from Donald Trump. Our deal with China is done. Now, there could be some flip-flopping on this still, but the subject to final approval with President Xi and myself, full magnets and any necessary rare earths. And why is this so important? Why was the rare earths so important? Yes, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and altcoins, but this is having an impact on the world, global financial setup right now. Full earth, the rare earths is so important because of where is it at? I moved it. God dang it. There it is right here. The U.S. trade deal that was being held up by rare earths is important because of this. China dominates the rare earths mine. Now, this is incredible because China controls 69% of the world's rare earths. Now the U.S. is negotiating for a deal in London to avoid the total tech collapse. This is important for weapons, for technology, for your iPhone, for computers, for chips. This is critical to that, and China essentially controls the market. So the fact that this is what was holding up a big part of that trade deal, it's very important that they came to a deal on this because this bodes very bullish for where this market's going. China kind of had the U.S. by the balls because of their dominance in rare earth metals, rare earth minerals and all the rights. Now, they'd seem like they've come to a bit of a conclusion on that trade deal. And so that is positive. I want to get back to what we were talking about here. But we also saw this morning. Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary Lutnick, just said, deal after deal will start coming in next week. This could be providing the perfect, overwhelming bullish platform for all those assets you're holding, or the majority at least, to see some bullish, explosive price action. Like Oprah says here, you get a bull, you get a bull, you get a green candle, you get profits if you have your assets stacked in your portfolio. If you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the proof of it, you're going to be left in the dust. So do not get left in the dust because you are not having conviction, because you do not have patience. And then we saw this from China, incredibly bullish news coming out of China on the story of global liquidity and the softening conditions of this risk off. We're seeing global money supply going up and to the right. But beyond that, we're getting more, not quantitative easing, not money printing. And people are arguing the semantics of this because this is not money printing. Well, it is. Liquidity conditions getting more and more productive for asset prices. Devaluing buying power, devalues buying power, but those investing capture this infinite liquidity print into appreciating assets. We're seeing $1.5 trillion fund getting tapped to boost the home market in China. This is maybe not direct money printing, but it is liquidity access for the market to soften the bearish conditions that they're seeing. This is money printing, just in another form. This is very, very bullish. So stack Bitcoin. All roads lead to the black hole that is Bitcoin, and it's a very bullish green black hole, meaning it's absorbing all these assets that are out there. Interestingly, this is actually insane. The bottom half of China on average, not the total, of course they have more people there, but if you averaged people in the bottom 50% of China, they hold nearly double as much wealth as the bottom half of America. So we need to get to saving. We need to get to investing. We need to get to taking care of our future. because they are way outshining us right now there in China. Now, I got a couple more things. Okay, altcoins, the dominance. This is very important. If you're holding altcoins and you're expecting them to pump, you need to be watching the Bitcoin dominance. And as this shows from Jesse Olson, the probability of Bitcoin's dominance decreasing and retesting target 1 has increased. This is target 1 right here. It's already broken down from this multi-month, almost a little over a year and a half, or about 8 months, I should say. The breakdown from this point on dominance is giving a clear indication that if this does retest this, it becomes much more likely the dominance will continue cascading downward. If this cascade downward happens, this would be a super signal for altcoins. The problem with this signal is a lot of people wait for this to tap this. They wait for it to tap this. They wait for it to tap this, missing the majority of the move. If this is moving to the downside, then alts are already moving to the upside. So get positioned, have endurance, pick the right assets for your portfolio if you're going to be investing or trading altcoins outside of Bitcoin, Bitcoin being the best asset there is in crypto. If you're going to be doing this, be positioned before this happens and do not put yourself at risk. GM Boogaloo, what's up? We got Ugin Sky, Granny's Garden, John Wick, Chris Pfaff, Boogaloo Bomb, I love the name. Pennywise. What's up, my friend? Castle, we got the fam jam here. I love each and every one of you. Saraville, I don't know how to say that, but shout out to Manny Sharon. We got some more stuff to look at, so let's keep going. So this is very bullish for the altcoin market. Let's pay attention to it. This is a critical signal for altcoins. About 8-month signal here has been broken. This trend line, it's broken down. It's made the move up to about the 786 fib. Doesn't matter what that means if you don't know, but a lower high. This is signaling a much likely break to the downside, which would be ultra bullish for alts. So get stacked. Just wanted to reemphasize that. Then we see Solana news that is super bullish. The SEC has asked the Solana ETF issuers to submit amended S1 forms within a week, potentially putting approval on track for July. So let's get a look at that. We're going to break that down on the charts, but then we also see one of those coins that at least us here in the Western world, for whatever reason, do not pay a lot of attention to, but we should because it's a major player on the global crypto stage, and that is Binance Chain. We see here on the Binance Chain has done more DEX volume than any other chains in 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, and 90 days. This isn't just growth. It's complete dominance. This is massive. This outshined Solana. It outshined Ethereum, Avalanche, all these. BNB feels like it has something brewing on the back end. Maybe it has something to do with all that China news that we just shared. Remember, BNB is over there, is rooted over there in the East. And we're seeing some major growth in user activity and address activity, as well as the DEX activity here. More DEX volume than any other chain. So we want to make sure we take a look at that. So now that being said, okay, we got Bitcoin set up. We got the news, the overwhelming bullish news. We got asset prices breaking out. So let's look at some TA. Let's look at it. I see. We no super chats for any specific coins to look at. So I will break down what we're seeing. Shout out to the members here on the channel as well. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being part of the family. Now, let's dive into some data. Let's dive into some charts. Let's dive into some technical analysis on these assets, because with Bitcoin as it stands right now, the liquidity is to the upside. Liquidity is to the upside. Is there some liquidity to the downside? Yes. But the easiest way to understand the liquidation heat maps, if you don't, it just looks like a bunch of colors and you don't get it. Pretend you're a moth and look for the brightest light. The price action tends to do that as well. And this is the moth. And we see these bright lights flashing up here saying, hey, come buzz around me. And as we see, this comes down. This came down, flushed this out. Now it's come up. It just keeps, these areas keep getting stacked into, meaning people have stacked shorts. So these would be liquidation zones for shorts to get liquidated if the price goes up into these zones. A forced close, which is a short liquidation, If a short is liquidated or forced to close because you're narrowing out that margin before they get liquidated, these are those price zones where there's a lot of basically free liquidity for market makers if the price action gets flushed into these. If the price action gets pushed into these zones by buys, right? Then these shorts are forced to close, which is a forced buy in the market, which is why a lot of times when you see these zones of a lot of liquidity on the price action, you see right here, it kind of cleared this out. These tend to be not only positive price action, but short squeezes where all these shorts are forced to be buys, and you get this very fast price action move up, and then it's just kind of chopping in here. Now on this 3-day chart, we do have some liquidity below us. On the near term, the liquidity is directly above us, but on the 3-day chart, we do have some liquidity below us we have to pay attention to. Down here in the 1067, we have a lot of just general liquidity in here. So there's no, just on the liquidation map, there's not a clear image of where price is going, but we can use this in addition to the broader data, the technical analysis data. On this chart right here, Bitcoin broke out of this downtrend that we saw from the basically middle of May. It has broken out. In addition to breaking out, Bitcoin has formed a bull flag, a bull pennant, which on this metric, if you were to measure the flagpole, which is right here, then this measurement would suggest that the next target for Bitcoin is up here at $115,000, $116,000 if this plays out perfectly. How often has the market played out patterns perfectly in the last 6 to 8 months? It's been very frustrating because although this bull pennant suggests the next target on Bitcoin is about $115,000, $116,000, $116,000, what we've seen over and over again is these patterns essentially do washouts, sometimes in both directions. So what we're watching for right now is if this does lose this zone, I'm watching for a bear trap breaking down into here, basically about 108, maybe a little lower, the mid 107s, but looking for, a resurgence, a V-shaped recovery, a little choppiness, a breakout of this zone, bull trap back down, confirmation of the move, shaking out over exuberance. You'll see open interest rise in these zones as well. And then you get the continuation to the upside. I'm watching for something like this if Bitcoin breaks down from this low. If Bitcoin is able to hold, and by the way, if this happens, alts are going to have a pretty decent pullback as well. If Bitcoin holds this zone and pushes up, I'm watching for a breakout of this zone, a little bit of a pullback into basically retest these highs and also that breakout point, and then the move to the upside. So that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right now. The overwhelming story or the hope or the narrative, the bias is it's just going to break out from here. But I've been around these markets too long to believe this is just going to be perfect and go. If it does, great. I'm already positioned, but I'm not. I think it's very possible we get that sort of double washout before the price absolutely moves to the upside. And you can also see that on the liquidation heat map. If you come down here on the 12-hour, that's why you have liquidity both above and below us. On the 12-hour, the immediate liquidity is right below us. This is a setup, if this ticks out, to have that flush to the downside. A little bit of a long squeeze down, boom, so on and so forth. So that's what we're seeing on Bitcoin. On Ethereum is breaking out. It's on the 1-hour chart, so let's zoom out a little bit. So we finally cleared these levels, this 2,700 zone. We're up into the mid 2,800, 2,850. This is the line we talked about for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. The zone right here to clear past this level. So now what's happened is on Ethereum, we have a consecutive higher lows here. Okay. Now we're starting to break. We broke past this level. We have now a higher high from this most immediate range, but we also are breaking beyond this range high here as well as this range high. The question is going to be, does it continue? I think it wouldn't be shocking to see if Ethereum had a little bit of a sell-off back into the mid 27s, even down to this pretty large trend line. What is that trend line? Multi-year trend line back here to 2022. Now, what that looks like is if the price action does sell off, okay, still bullish, realize this. If this does sell off and find support here and then bounce down into the zone, that's fine. It starts getting a little cumbersome for the bulls if this loses and comes down, something like that. And this all could be determined by something as simple as a tweet from Donald Trump or China or Russia or Ukraine. There's so much going on geopolitically. Although we are seeing charts that are giving us signal, these things can be completely disregarded by what's going on the geopolitical stage, especially with all the tariffs and everything going on. Remember, we also have this FOMC meeting next week. In addition to that, this weekend, we have all these, probably a pretty high likelihood of a lot of different social unrest with all these planned protests, which are going to turn into riots, and it's freaking nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. If you stand on top of a car that you broke the windshield of, go to jail, goodbye. If you're throwing rocks at a car, go to jail, goodbye. If you're talking shit about a country that you are in illegally, waving another flag, get the fuck out of our country. Bottom line, I don't care. I believe in immigration. I believe people should be here. I believe this country needs immigrants. I was married to somebody that I also helped get their citizenship. It has to do with coming about it a legal way, so you're not skipping people in line, so we can vet people that come into this country. The nonsense that we're seeing that is just being shaped by the media, the lies that are being told, there's a lot of millions of people that came into this country. Go through the process to be here legally. If you came in through the guise of this nonsense, the Democrats allowed people to come in, and now they're saying, okay, we can't have all these people that are here illegally. Become legal. Don't go out there and resist the things in the country that you're in now, that in the country you came from, you could not even organize to even speak your voice. Go speak your voice. Do it. Fine. That's wonderful. This country is about freedom of speech, but standing on top of a car, running a motorcycle into a cop, all this, bring hell, wrath, fury on any, I don't care who you are, white, black, Mexican, Guatemalan, Nigerian, wherever you are, I don't care. Speak your voice. You have the right to, but do not damage property. Do not loot a freaking Adidas store and say this is a protest. No, that is a riot. Go to jail for 5 years. I don't care, because you're being a jackass, right? Woo. But hey, I want everybody to do things the legal way. I want people to trust the streets they're walking down. I want the social care systems to have the money to take care of people, to give health care to those who need it, because they're here legally and they're going through the proper channels. But that's my rant today. But let's get back into the charts, baby, because BNB, all these things going on with BNB, and what we're seeing on BNB is a pretty strong resilience, an incredibly bullish chart here for BNB. Look at this chart. It is phenomenal. Now, with this being said, look at the flirtation BNB has had with this top. I feel like BNB is in a coiled spring that is going to see a massive run to the upside. One of the things we can do is measure from this top to this bottom like this. I think, the targets up here into, the 2.618, 1546, $1,546, I think is very doable. I think, in fact, coming even further up here into this 3 to 4.618 is going to be very doable because of the massive adoption wave that is coming to this market, and also the opening of stances in the eastern half of the world with South Korea, and their new president. That just got voted, that is very positive on Bitcoin, that's very positive on crypto, that's very positive on integrating not only Bitcoin treasuries, but also the crypto integrations into their economy and pensions and all these sorts of things. Also, we're seeing a softening of stance from Hong Kong and China about what's going on with their integrations and access to crypto assets. I think BNB is going to have a monumental move up here. I also see, Ethereum, we talked about that before, but the ETH to Bitcoin chart, they had a 987-day downtrend, which is now starting to have this reversal on a bull flag on the ETH to Bitcoin pair. And it is breaking out. Look at this. Breaking out. This is a great signal for the altcoins in the market. We've already talked about this signal right here with Bitcoin dominance breaking down, but we also see the ETH to Bitcoin pair breaking out, also further signaling altcoins are likely going to run, and they're going to run hard and they're going to run fast. Ondo also breaking out of the downtrend here. Boom. Look at this. Beautiful. Already attacking back to this mid 90 range. Look at where it's at right now. Previous range lows. We're watching for the next move up into these order blocks here. This target right about the dollar level. But this is very bullish right now for Ondo as well. Chainlink showing monumental integrations and access, interoperability, setting the standard for this interoperability and cross-chain, and so much that they thought Cosmos and Atom was going to do. Everybody thought Polkadot was going to do, and they will in their own right, but Chainlink is already doing it in a major way, in addition to providing the ability for real-world asset tokenization and proof of reserves, and helping facilitate the world's largest global monetary network, SWIFT, integrating with that, and the stock market money settlement place, DTCC, $3 quadrillion a year, and they're integrating with Chainlink. I think Chainlink is going to absolutely melt faces. And look at this massive pent up chart here from all the way back here in 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024, just ping-ponging, coiling up into an overwhelmingly nuclear loaded spring here for a monumental move to the upside. So we've been stacking there. Aerodrome also breaking out. We get this on a smaller time frame. Look at this. Double click here. Okay, fucking do it by yourself. There we go. Okay, we're seeing the downtrend here. The downtrend in a channel that bounced in the zone we talked about. Breaking out. We have a bull flag right here on Aerodrome. The pennant here, I would measure from this zone right here to the top of that pennant. Measure this. What pennant am I talking about, Kelly? You can see it with your eyes. If you can't, I don't know what to do, because I try to break it down for you on a daily basis. Your eyes need to be able to track this. And it's okay if they don't, because you got me. But I want to make sure that I teach you guys how to fish, not just give you the fish. We got this beautiful pennant here. This is already breaking out, attacking this previous range high right here. The target out of this is back up here into the 72, 73 cent zone. Shout out there. Lasers go pew pew. I will admit to you that is correct. Cosmos ecosystem, they have a great ecosystem. So I'm not hating on Cosmos at all. I'm just saying that Chainlink has a lot, from their oracles to their data aggregation to real world asset tokenization, so much going on with Chainlink. But what we're seeing here, Aerodrome looking like, look at this. It's chopping right where all of this chop was. So it makes sense. Now we're attacking this next range to the upside, and this is our target up here into the low 70s. BitTensor Tau breaking out as well. Look at this. Beautiful bull pennant or bull flag. Maybe you want to call it a falling wedge, whatever you want to call this. This is broken out. We're looking to really attack this highs here at 442, 443. The next level up we're really watching is in the mid 450s, 455, 458, this zone right here, which also has an order block. The target out of that, we'll be really looking at this 490 zone, and then back into the lower mid 500s, 530, 535. But this is looking beautiful, because we have multiple breakouts here. We have this breakout right here, downtrend. Look at this, kind of coiled up into this and then broke out into a bullish structure that is looking like it wants to move higher. If things reverse from some big tweet that comes out of Trump or something with all the riots and all this kind of stuff, as bullish as we are, make sure you're looking for dip buying opportunities on this market. As bullish as we are and how high this market's going to go, there's a geopolitical, just spring-loaded tension rod right now that every tweet could send the markets in either direction. But the midterm and the bullish narrative and structures for this crypto ecosystem is so bullish that if you get an opportunity for a dip, this bull flag right here on Tau, okay, you can't just only plan on the upside. If you get the lucky opportunity for this to roll over and actually swing to the downside, down here in the low 400s, potentially even lower, down here into the 380s, any altcoin you're looking at, if you get an opportunity to lower on an asset you really believe in, and it's only because a tweet came out or some stupid thing on the news with what's going on with the riots and all this nonsense, take advantage of these dip buying opportunities because this market is about to absolutely melt faces. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I really hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful time. We got a super chat here. We got, where is it at? Viewer activity. I'm trying to see. It's not loading for me over here. Super chat. Super chat. Much love, brother, from Falco. Big love. I appreciate the super chats. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for all the BitLab members that are here. I really do appreciate you. I have a plan with some of the morning stuff we're doing in the Discord and some of the other stuff. I'm going to be sharing some special stuff for you members that are here on the BitLab YouTube. It's about $1.25 a week, and it's a great way to help support what we're doing here in the family. But make sure every one of you right now, do me a favor. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Rumble, if you're watching on X, wherever you're tuned in, if you're on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed. Turn on your notifications. If you want to become a member, become a member. If you're watching on X right here, make sure you're coming over to my page. Just click on that right there. Click the follow button. If you're watching, you can also follow the @Academy BitLab. If you're watching on Rumble, all you got to do is come right here, hit that follow button, hit that follow. We got 9 since yesterday. It's a big love there. We got about 20,000 views on yesterday's video. So shout out, hit that like button, show some love. And again, we're doing the giveaway tomorrow. If we can get 40 retweets on today's stream, where is it? How do I exit out of this? 40 retweets. We got 7 so far. If we get 40 retweets, we'll do a $100 giveaway tomorrow. And we draw the people that win based on this. I look right here and I come to the tweet, I go to view post engagement, and then we do a random drawing for those that are retweeting. That's how you enter to win. And it's also showing love to the family. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Higher, faster, stronger, longer. Show yourself some love. Find some gratitude today. I appreciate each and every one of you. We all get fired up about what's going on politically. And sometimes you got to vent. That's okay. Show love to one another. A lot of people are getting a lot of different information. So they're not dumb if they don't agree with you. They might be getting a completely different set of information. Let's talk about these things. Let's not say, you said this, but I saw this. But what about, no, let's not piss into the wind. Let's love each other. Let's find common ground. They're all lying to us, both sides. So let's find some common ground. And hey, we're doing this in the markets. We're trying to figure out how we can dominate the rest of our lives by participating in what's happening here. I love you. I appreciate you. Adios, muchachos.